Hi everyone, my name is Randika and today we are here to talk about the Columbian exchange and the impact that has had on the culinary landscape of Sri Lanka. Columbian exchange refers to the exchange of commodities, people and diseases across the Atlantic Ocean. This was a result of the discovery of the Americas by the Europeans in the 15th century. The discovery of the Americas gave rise to two terms, the Old World and the New World. The Old World essentially referred to the countries in Europe, Asia and Africa that were on one side of the Atlantic Ocean, and the New World was obviously the American continents, North and South Americas. Sri Lanka's role in all of this is that we were a primary trading port in the Old World. Sri Lanka is known across the world for our tropical fruits. You can see lots of photos on travel blogs about Sri Lanka and the hanging fruits of bananas, papayas, passion fruits, rambutans, etc. It is important to understand where all of these fruits may have come to Sri Lanka from. And this is where the Columbian exchange comes into the equation. So essentially, prior to the Columbian exchange, most of those fruits that we see at the fruit markets on the streets were not part of the Sri Lankan diet. Most of these items from the Americas came to Sri Lanka starting with the Portuguese, the Dutch and the British, and also the various other trading communities such as the Moors. Some items were also brought by the Dutch and various other traders that came to Sri Lanka in those days. Let's take a look at some of the fruits that were not in Sri Lanka prior to the 1500s. Passion fruit, papayas, pineapples, avocados were all from the Central Americas. And we also then had things like vanilla and chocolate that the Americas have given to the rest of the world. Other contributions come in the form of potatoes, tomatoes, manioc, pumpkin, and lots of other things. But one key ingredient that has changed the culinary landscape of Sri Lanka has been chili. Prior to the chili being introduced to the Old World due to the Columbian exchange, there was no chili in Sri Lanka. Prior to the arrival of the chili, Sri Lankans have used other forms of spices such as pepper to flavor their dishes. So other things that we have on our lunch plates like pumpkin and potatoes and cashews also come from the Old World. The cashews were actually brought to Sri Lanka by the Portuguese via Goa. The name kaju actually originates from the Portuguese word for cashew at the time, kaju. Outside the culinary landscape, we also have the Americas to thank for rubber and tobacco, which are two of the biggest exporting products from Sri Lanka. All of these ingredients that have been brought from the Americas to Sri Lanka have been incorporated in a beautiful manner into the Sri Lankan cuisine. Let's take a look at some of these examples. Like an ala curry is something, or a potato curry is something that we tend to have on a day-to-day basis. Manioc grows very well and we tend to eat that with a little bit of coconut sambal. And coconut sambal is flavored with some chili, which has also come from the Americas. When we're going on a trip, we might often stop by a roadside and have some corn. Corn and maize also come from the Americas, and in the Americas there are thousands of varieties of corn, although in Sri Lanka we just have the one yellow corn. In Sri Lanka we only have a few varieties of potatoes available, but if you were to go to Peru, where the potato is native to, you'd find thousands of varieties of it in different shapes, different colors, different textures and tastes. It's the same thing for the chilies. If you were to go to Mexico, you would find hundreds of different kinds of chilies. And in the Mexican cuisine, they not only use chili to bring up the heat or the spiciness of a dish, but also to add flavor that they derive from different chilies into their dishes. Through the Columbian exchange and our use of all these native ingredients from the Americas, we are connected to the culture there and the people. Understanding the origins of these ingredients helps us to appreciate our connectedness with the rest of the world, particularly the Americas and the Native American people who have put in the effort to get those ingredients to how they were prior to us receiving them through the Columbian exchange. As we take pride in showcasing Sri Lankan food to the world, we should also take some time to appreciate the journey those ingredients that we use in our food have taken to end up on our plates. Understanding this history also allows us to appreciate each ingredient and also appreciate the unique diversity that we have within Sri Lanka. As someone who loves food, I genuinely take pride in understanding the origins of each ingredient that's on the plate that I'm eating. And that gives me so much value and so much appreciation for the dish in front of me. And I think having that understanding will, in your own lives, will help you to appreciate things that are around you and things like food that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.